For wild animals, life is all about survival. And in this battle for their own place in the natural world, each has adapted in amazing ways, evolving unique abilities and anatomical mutations, allowing them to thrive in even the toughest environments. But for nature's giants, survival all comes down to size. Being the biggest brings huge advantages, but it also presents enormous challenges. How these mighty animals overcome life's big problems is awe-inspiring. Whether it's finding ways to move their massive bodies, survive in extreme environments, or needing to eat a lot. These animals have learned to use their size in extraordinary ways to survive. The Arctic, a vast marine wilderness, covering more than 14 million square kilometers. But this hostile habitat of floating sea ice and freezing ocean waters is the hunting ground of the planet's largest land carnivore, the polar bear. In this environment, being a big beast with a big appetite requires some serious adaptations. Despite weighing in at over half a ton, this adult male is an excellent swimmer. A thick layer of fat usually keeps him warm in the freezing waters. But this is late summer. He's lost almost a third of his body mass. Now, desperate for food, he decides to head back to dry land. He is a winter specialist, using stealth and camouflage to stalk seals out on the sea ice. But in these conditions, the huge white bear will need to try a different tactic. He's been lured to this coastline by the scent of an immense summer banquet. These frozen lands are home to another giant. Walrus are the largest seal species in the Arctic. They weigh over a ton and are armed with tusks up to 1 meter long. A polar bear would only usually go after their young, but the reward from such a big prize would be well worth the risk. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Faced with an imposing wall of blubber, he tries to find a way in. Using their tusks as daggers, the walrus defend themselves. As they retreat to the water, he must move quickly. But their hide is too thick. Wounded from the struggle, he gives up. Their vast size has helped the walrus stay safe. And it appears the world's largest bear may have met his match. Despite being the biggest carnivore to hunt on land, polar bears are actually marine mammals. But they are far from the biggest animal in the ocean. It's another marine giant that takes the prize for the largest creature ever to have lived. The blue whale. At 30 meters long and weighing 150 tons, this whale outranks even the biggest dinosaurs. His colossal body means he has very few predators. Only a large pod of killer whales would attempt to overpower a creature this big. And his size brings another benefit. He can migrate great distances with little effort, allowing him to reach the ocean's richest feeding grounds with the highest concentrations of krill. Blue whales eat as much as they can in one go, gulping down a massive 100 tons of krill-rich water in just 10 seconds. It's the buoyancy of the ocean water that supports this giant frame, enabling whales to grow to a scale not possible on land. So the blue whale just keeps getting bigger. But mammals aren't the only giants in the ocean. With 95% of our planet's seas still unexplored, it's thought there could be even bigger creatures lurking in the depths. And we've already discovered some extraordinary fish. At over 10 meters long and weighing up to 20 tons, the whale shark is the world's largest fish. Yet it survives solely on a diet of plankton. It swims at a top speed of just 5 kilometers an hour, sucking in water with its huge mouth, 1.5 meters wide. Its gill rakers process 6,000 liters an hour. But the real secret to its size is a more recent discovery. This shark is negatively buoyant. It can sink to the bottom of the ocean to reach its food, using around 30% less energy. This increases its feeding time and the amount it can consume. But it's not just underwater that the benefits of size can be reaped. When it comes to finding food, land-living giants have also learned to make the most of their stature. Standing up to 5 meters high, this giraffe seems to have it made. With feet the size of dinner plates, and a neck that stretches to almost half its height. Being head and shoulders above the rest certainly has its perks. It makes getting the hardest to reach leaves a breeze, especially with a 50-centimeter tongue to go the extra distance. Just as well, giraffes have a supersized appetite, consuming up to 65 kilograms a day. But long necks come at a cost. As it stretches up, the thick muscle walls of its surprisingly powerful heart must drive blood up to the brain at a phenomenal pressure. Giraffes have the highest blood pressure of any animal, which should cause a problem when they drop their head down to drink. But while other animals would faint under such pressure, specialized valves in the giraffe's neck counter the potentially explosive effects of gravity, blocking all this blood from flowing into its skull. This simple solution is now used in NASA spacesuits. It may be one small step in evolution for the giraffe, but it's led to a giant leap for mankind. The giraffe's long neck and unique adaptations allow it to feed with ease. But many of nature's giants have to fight for their food. It's spring in Turkey's alpine forests. And the region's mightiest resident has recently emerged from a long hibernation. After 6 months without food or water, the rain is a welcome relief. But his primary concern is finding something to eat. Brown bears can lose up to 40% of their body weight during hibernation. While on the move, he rubs against trees, leaving a clear message of his size and status, hopefully warding off any would-be intruders. He's on a countdown to breeding season. And if he's to stake a claim to any females in his home range, he needs to bulk up. Larger males have better mating success. But he's not the only hungry one in the forest. A rival. He's smaller, but he's not backing down. Size matters here, and it's won him the right to the area. He can now get back to the very important job of finding food. Sadly, the best pickings are out of reach. but he won't let that stop him. Surprisingly, for a beast weighing up to 400 kilograms, brown bears are excellent climbers. His giant claws and paws allow him a secure grip. And he finally gets a chance to enjoy his winnings. While brown bears use their size to their advantage, there are some negatives to life on the larger side. Carrying extra weight reduces both speed and agility. So how do the world's largest hunters go about catching their prey? These forests are home to Indonesia's largest and deadliest predator. The reticulated python. At over 9 meters in length, it's the longest snake in the world. Because of their bulk, pythons move by stiffening their stomach for support, then pushing themselves forward. A movement known as rectilinear progression. But it's not the fastest way to get around. Its top speed is no more than 1.5 kilometers per hour. Not ideal for hunting fast-footed prey. To overcome the drawbacks of its size, the python has evolved some clever hunting adaptations. First, it waits for the cover of darkness. Using its forked tongue, the python flicks air particles towards an organ on the roof of its mouth, helping it hone in on any source of food. Once it gets close, its sixth sense kicks in. Heat sensors on the side of the python's nose help pinpoint the location of their warm-blooded prey. But it must remain undetected. A slow approach is key. With its target in reach, this heavyweight snake can move at lightning speeds. Now, with its prey secure, it can take its time over its meal. Despite the drawbacks of its size, the reticulated python is a skilled hunter. But for other predators, being big is the key to their success. Especially in one of nature's most competitive ecosystems. The Amazon Basin. Brazil. A hidden kingdom ruled by giants. Five-meter-long caiman patrol the waters, while the largest cat in South America, the jaguar, stalks the riverbank. To compete with this region's oversized killers, a usually small animal has grown to an extraordinary size. These Amazon backwaters are home to the giant Brazilian otter. Adults can reach nearly 2 meters in length. That's more than twice as big as a North American river otter. This family have young to feed. And that is a full-time job. Luckily, their size and strength makes them excellent aquatic hunters. Their diet consists almost exclusively of fish. But they've been known to eat anaconda and even small caiman. They can consume up to 20% of their total body weight each day. That's a lot of food to catch. So for this family, it requires teamwork to fill everyone's bellies. Even the youngest members are forced to join in with the task. Despite the murky water, they hunt with precision. It's no wonder they're known as river wolves. Their whiskers detect the movement of prey. And together, they herd the fish towards the bank. When one lands a successful catch, they'll rarely share, but everyone will eventually get their turn. Thanks to its size and speed, the giant river otter can compete with the likes of jaguars and caiman for food, allowing it to survive in a competitive environment. So giants have found numerous ways to feed their appetites. But what do they do when nature turns up the heat? The Australian Outback, where temperatures can reach 50 degrees Celsius. This sweltering heat presents a challenge for one iconic giant. The red kangaroo. At a towering height of 2 meters, it's the world's largest marsupial, able to leap 7 meters in just one jump. But any exercise generates heat. And a big body like this has a comparatively small surface area, making it hard for the heat to escape. Here, the risk of overheating can be life-threatening. But the kangaroo has found a way to overcome the danger. As the temperatures soar, they head for shade and start to preen. Covering themselves in saliva. As it evaporates, their body temperature drops, cooling down their bulk. It may seem a strange solution, but this clever trick means the red kangaroo is the only animal of its size to survive life in Australia's hottest deserts. Across the planet, nature's giants have adapted to suit the habitat in which they live. But in some places, It is huge animals that shape the terrain. In the Indian Ocean lies the remote Pemba Island. These forests are the daytime roost of the Pemba flying fox. With a wingspan of 1.5 meters, these are the largest bats in the world. And with up to 850 in a group, space is at a premium. Communal living can be tough, so disputes are common. Unlike smaller bats, who use echolocation to catch insects in mid-air, flying foxes are too big to hunt such fast-moving prey. Instead, these giants use their acute vision to find their food. When night falls, the whole colony head out to feed. These bats mostly eat nectar and ripe fruit, dispersing seeds and pollinating plants as they go, helping the forest to thrive and in turn providing a home to numerous other rare species. As dawn breaks, the huge flocks return to their roost, creating a deafening cacophony. In the animal world, it's the biggest, noisiest creatures that usually stand out. But some giants prefer to stay out of sight. In the planet's most impenetrable jungles lies a hidden kingdom of giant bugs, some found nowhere else on Earth. In Southeast Asia, atlas moths spend 21 days in their cocoon. Once fully emerged, their wings begin to unfurl. Eventually reaching 30 centimeters across, making them the largest moths in the world. Despite their size, they're still a target for birds. However, the tips of their wings are thought to look like snakes' heads. A clever trick to ward off would-be predators. In Malaysia, giant walking stick insects can grow up to 60 centimeters in length. But even though they're a remarkable size, they spend much of their day motionless. Camouflaged against the plants. But the prize for the world's biggest insect goes to the Goliath beetle. Found in Africa's tropical forests, males grow as big as a fist and weigh in at 100 grams. Making them the largest insect in the world by mass. And their size results in super strength. They can lift 850 times their own body weight. In the right conditions, insects have evolved into giants. And for them, size has become their secret weapon. But one creature here in Africa has grown so big, it's now lost its superpower. At nearly 3 meters tall and with a vast 2-meter wingspan, the ostrich is the largest and heaviest bird on the planet. But despite having wings, it's flightless. It shares its home on the African plains with some deadly neighbors. Lions, hyenas, and cheetahs. So how does it avoid these fierce predators? It uses its powerful legs for running. Ostrich can reach speeds of 70 kilometers per hour, almost as fast as the cheetahs. The young ostrich makes a slightly easier target. But it's only by working as a team that the cheetahs stand a chance. Thanks to their size, ostrich can outrun most predators. And their speed and power usually makes up for the lack of flying ability. So while the ostrich has had to become tough to survive a harsh environment, there are some giants who have evolved a surprisingly sensitive approach to get what they need. The Chambal River, northern India. Home to one of the largest crocodiles in the world. The Gharial. This male could grow to 6 meters in length. His armored skin sharp teeth and powerful jaws make him a fearsome sight. Yet he poses no threat to man. These long, slender jaws are too delicate to tackle large mammals. Instead, they're specially adapted to catching fish. Crocodile faces are more sensitive than human fingertips. Their scales help to detect vibrations in the water. So by whipping his head from side to side, he can zero in on his prey, grabbing them in his jaws, which are lined with more than 100 sharp teeth. Male gharials sport a large growth on their snout called a gara, the Hindi word for pot. And their mating behavior is just as striking as their appearance. In fact, for an animal of this size, they're surprisingly sensitive when it comes to finding a mate. In the dry season, the Gharial congregate. The females group together on riverbanks to watch the males perform. But it's not a song that would be to everyone's taste. Males vocalize while blowing bubbles on the water surface. And the females watch on intently. The male's garas amplify the noise, so it can be heard up to 1 kilometer away. When a female is interested, she raises her head, a sign she's ready to mate. So starts a lengthy courtship. The couple disappear below the water to continue their romance. For the Gharial, a large and intimidating exterior hides a surprisingly soft side. But for another of nature's giants, their size brought them to the brink of extinction. The Galapagos, an archipelago of remote volcanic islands in the Pacific Ocean. Isolated from the mainland, creatures here have evolved in unique ways to survive. And the giant the islands are named after is no exception. Galapagos is the Old Spanish word for tortoise. The Galapagos giant tortoise is the largest on Earth. Marooned on these islands without any predators, they became larger than their mainland ancestors. But while now they are only found here, just a few million years ago, they used to thrive across South America. Their size and slow pace made them an easy target for hunters to find. So they suffered a quicker demise than other species of tortoise. But here on the Galapagos, they've become masters of survival. Migrating across their islands with the seasons, they follow the best supply of food. Fresh vegetation from spring rains builds up their impressive stature. And in leaner times, they can live off their body fat for a whole year, with no need for food or water. These giants live for over 150 years, one of the longest lifespans of any animal on Earth. And now, with human protection, their numbers are making an impressive comeback. Sometimes, the simple act of moving is a challenge for the world's biggest beasts. The larger they are, the more work involved in moving their giant bodies. Especially for Earth's largest land animal. The 7-ton African elephant. Here in Mali, their lives are one epic quest for food and water. Living on the edge of the Sahara Desert, survival for this family can mean trekking 50 kilometers a day. So how do their bodies take the strain of carrying such a wide load? Their legs are positioned almost vertically under their body, providing a strong support. Fatty pads on the soles of their humongous feet absorb the shock. And they have a clever adaptation to stay cool. These are the largest ears of any animal, accounting for 20% of their overall surface area. Flapping them cools blood in the capillaries, which is then distributed throughout the body. Staying cool is one thing, but to survive, they must find water. These elephants can hear rain through their feet, even when it's hundreds of kilometers away. The low-frequency sound of a storm, undetectable to the human ear, is picked up by their toes, behind which lie pads of acoustically sensitive fat. They head in the direction of the storm in the hope it will lead them to water. This herd may travel over 600 kilometers each year, the longest migration of any African elephant. But at last, they've made it. They've managed to find the one source of water in an area the size of Florida. It's a relief for all members of the herd. Despite their size, Mali's desert elephants have adapted to desert conditions, becoming the ultimate survivors in a land of extremes. But elephants, whales, and nature's other giants are mere dwarfs when compared to this next immense beast. Made up of nearly 3,000 individual reefs and covering an area of over 250,000 square kilometers. The Great Barrier Reef is the largest organism on the planet. But threatened by rising water temperatures and illegal activities, its survival hangs in the balance. Therefore, the reef's most magical ability is being able to regenerate from the inside out. Just once a year, when the day length, tides, and water conditions are just right. A full moon triggers the most spectacular natural event. Over a series of nights, over 400 different species of coral release tiny egg and sperm bundles into the water. Filling the sea with new life. In time, the resulting coral larva will settle on the ocean floor and bud into a new coral colony. Regenerating one of our most threatened natural wonders. And creating an organism so huge, it can be seen from space. Nature's giants have found astonishing solutions to life's biggest problems. From using their size to find food, and to win over a mate, to enduring the world's most extreme environments, and overcoming the challenges of moving their larger-than-average frames. These Goliaths stand tall in the face of adversity, making them amongst Earth's greatest survivors.